to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today Around Kansas begins with a story about Teeter Rock, a 16-foot monolith honoring James Teter, who in the 1870s helped guide pioneers looking for the Cottonwood River. Next, it's Samuel and Florella Brown Adair, John Brown's sister and brother-in-law. And a poem from Ron Wilson will end with Martin and Osa Johnson, Adventurers from Kansas. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Well, good morning. If we're here and you're there, it must be around Kansas.
And it must be Wednesday.
I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we bring you this show to let you know about all of the people, places, and things around Kansas that make it a great place to work and live and play.
And we're sitting in one of them. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to the Dillon House real quickly. We come to you from the Dillon House every week. And a couple of weeks ago, Ross Freeman of the Pioneer Group that rehabbed this building won a very prestigious award. It's called the Timmy Award. And it's named for an architect from Boston who basically pioneered rehabbing old buildings instead of just building new ones. And, of course, there's a lot of advantages to that. And I think that this is the second Timmy Award that the Pioneer Group has won. It's the most prestigious award an architect can receive in America, and only a handful of people have more than they do. So a shout out to Ross Freeman and the good folks with the Pioneer Group that made this beautiful space, brought it back to life.
It is exceptional. If you've not ever been in here, sometime you should come and take a look at it. Right now, of course, it's in its holiday gaiety, and we're sitting by one of the many, many decorations that are throughout the house. It was all done by Porterfields this year, and it's a beautiful place to have a meeting or a reception, or I don't know, come and sit by the fireplace.
Really, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So, yeah. Again, kudos to them. Well, there's just so much going on around the state, you know, in December, and of course, the weather, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. You know, western Kansas had blizzards back in November already. I mean, shoot.
20 inches of snow, yeah.
It's crazy. So it's already upon us. So we want to give you some places that you can visit over the holidays and, you know, some nice, cozy indoor spots. And take the kids, take the family that's visiting from out of town. So we're going to talk about those. Frank has one that's not quite so
there's
cozy.
One that this time of the year you may not want to go visit it. Anyway, it's called the Teter Rock, and a friend of mine actually owns the land where Teter Rock is, but it's open to the public, and it's an interesting story about why there is a rock there.
So that may not be as cozy as some of the other places we're going to talk about today, but if it's a nice winter day, you know, that would be a great place to go. That and of course, the Monument Rocks, and you know, we've got so many incredible formations all over the state. We really do.
Yeah.
So there's so many great places to see and great folks to know about. So go back and look at our archives. You can find those at aroundkansas.com, and just flip through all those great episodes, and we share them on Facebook. Our friend Carla Hall, I'll give Carla a shout out. Post all that stuff on Facebook. And did you know we're on Twitter?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're there now.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know what.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Oh, that's Chicken Man. That's another story.
Okay, yeah, that's not Twitter. That's Chicken Man. Yeah. Tweet.
We'll be back.
Lecompton. The name was splashed across newspapers throughout America and Europe. It was debated in the halls of Congress. Lecompton interprets its unique territorial history with 2 museums and other sites. Events throughout the year celebrate history and community. Visit the Territorial Capitol Museum, where more than 70 trees are displayed with thousands of antique and vintage ornaments, and be sure to stop in the gift shops in both Lecompton museums. Spend the day in historic Lecompton, shopping, eating, savoring the rich history.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Welcome back. Well, you know, one thing that we have a lot of in Kansas is rocks. And we've got, you know, the Flint Hills, which, you know, couldn't be cultivated because the flint rock is so close to the surface. We've got the land of post-rock fences because they didn't have trees to make fences out of, so they used rocks. And then, of course, we've got all these wonderful stone buildings because that's what we've got to build with. We got rocks.
We have lots of rocks.
We got lots of rocks.
Sandstone and flint and all kinds of
all
stuff.
kinds of rocks. Some big rocks, some little rocks. We got all kinds of rocks all over Kansas.
Well, in fact, there are a lot of towns that have survived, you know, destruction of modern day and all of that. In fact, Alma is one that is the buildings there. Most every one of them is made from native stone.
Oh, that's a pretty town.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's a beautiful town. You got me wanting some cheese from Alma.
Alma cheese.
Alma cheese now. We'll have to run over there later and get some Alma cheese.
Yeah.
So it's no mystery that people have used these rocks for a lot of things, and that's what Frank's story is about today. Some of the rocks that weren't natural landmarks, well, you could just make yourself a landmark, couldn't you?
Yeah. Well, and that really kind of is the gist of the story, why there is Teter Rock, because it's kind of the last vestige of what was there.
What was there?
Do I have you intrigued?
Yes.
Anyway, let's find out about the famous Teter Rock. Our friend Marcy Penner of the Kansas Sampler Foundation reminds us that to get Kansas, you sometimes have to go out of your way to be in the realm of what was. Nice to have a big stone to give us a great reason to go there. In the 1870s, James Teter piled rocks as a marker to guide pioneers searching for the Cottonwood River. Eventually, the rocks were removed and used for construction materials. In 1954, a 16-foot tall slab of rock was erected on this hilltop in honor of Mr. Teter. Though this jagged monolith that slices the clean Flint Hills air is marked with graffiti, it's still an excellent Kansas landmark, says Marcy. The view is vintage, remote Flint Hills. Teter Rock also marks the approximate vicinity of Teterville, an oil boom town in the 1920s. At one point, there were more than 600 people in Teterville, along with 2 general stores, a school, a post office, shotgun houses for oil workers and their families. By the 1960s, everyone and nearly everything was gone. Today, you really have to use your imagination to envision such a town. A few foundations are the only remnants. You can learn more about the town at the Greenwood County Historical Museum in Eureka.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn, with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Fall is a great time to plant perennials, trees, shrubs, and bulbs. Root development occurs with the moist and cool soil conditions, which means better growth next year with less watering and maintenance. The use of mulch on all plantings helps protect from freezing, thawing, and drying out. Let Jackson's help with your next planting.
Jackson's top quality fall bulbs for spring blooming have arrived. Always plant the best bulbs for bigger, better blooms.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com. And we're back again.
Now
now that we were outside, we can kind of go inside.
That's right. We can go get cozy now. And so this actually, the next place that we're going to talk about, the John Brown Cabin at Osawatomie, is actually setting in a park. So if it's nice, you can go walk around outside, and then there's a beautiful John Brown statue there. You can just walk around and enjoy the beautiful town of Osawatomie. Just walk down the sidewalks. It's such a pretty town. Or you can come inside the John Brown Cabin. Now, I'll have to tell you, as a historian, of course, this is obviously one of my favorite places. When I first came to Kansas, ever how many years ago, the Historical Society was still downtown in the GAR Memorial Hall. So I researched in there, and I really wanted to just go in, and I wasn't working on anything specific. So I'm like, they're like, well, what do you want to see? And I'm like, I want to see something connected to John Brown. And I'm going through his file, and I get the diary of his sister, Florella Adair, who lived in this cabin. And so I sat in that old Memorial Hall and read her diary, and that was just amazing, just amazing.
Well, and what's interesting is, was he hero? Was he villain? And I mean, historians debate that all the time. It's
right.
like, well, was he hero? Was he villain? Did his actions actually spark the Civil War? Most probably, because of bleeding Kansas. So
one of my friends, Jack Davis, who is foremost Civil War author, he's written, I don't know 50 books. He said, John Brown is a mountain in the path of American history. You cannot go around him. Let's take a look. When Samuel and Florella Brown Adair moved to the Kansas Territory from Ohio, it was with the dream of making a new home and stopping the spread of slavery. Florella's half-brother was the abolitionist John Brown, and 5 of his sons followed the Adairs to Kansas, bringing with them their families and expectations for a better life in the new territory. After settling in the Osawatomie area, severe illness and the clouds of war closed in on the pioneers. John Brown came to the territory to help his sons and found a place where he could act on his radical ideas. During the troubled times of Bleeding Kansas, Osawatomie was attacked and burned by pro-slavery forces in 1856, but the Adair cabin, located some distance northwest of the town, survived. The Congregational Meeting House, built by Adair, was dedicated in 1861 and still stands as well. The Civil War, when it came in 1861, separated the Adairs. Samuel served at Fort Leavenworth as military chaplain. Florella died in 1865. Following her death, Samuel returned to his church and cabin in Osawatomie. He helped establish the first insane asylum in Kansas, present-day Osawatomie State Hospital, giving his services voluntarily as chaplain for 11 years. Samuel died in 1898, leaving the cabin to his son Charles. In 1910, President Theodore Roosevelt visited Osawatomie to dedicate a memorial at the John Brown Memorial Park. Shortly after, the Adair cabin was dismantled and relocated to the memorial park. In 1928, the state of Kansas appropriated funds for a stone pergola to surround the cabin, protecting it from further deterioration. The Kansas State Historical Society maintains the site in partnership with the city of Osawatomie. Grady Atwater is the site director. Visit their website for upcoming events and exhibits.
From the Land of Kansas is a trademark program that helps Kansas businesses grow, produce, process, or manufacture Kansas products. Let's meet Buckingham Cakes in Wichita, a multifaceted, home-based operation offering a variety of made-to-order desserts and baked goods. Their products start with beautifully crafted wedding cakes to honor that most important day, focusing on design, details, and finishes. They are truly works of art that taste as good as they look. Need a fun cake for a birthday or special event? Buckingham Cakes has playful, whimsical, and creative novelty cakes for you. And if you want a dessert or pastry to be the center of attention at an important dinner, look no further. Buckingham Cakes has just what you want. They also proudly supply specialty shops, grocery stores, and restaurants with their mouth-watering treats. For more information, visit their website at buckinghamcakes.com.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Howdy folks, I'm Ron Wilson, Poet Lariat. Those of us who live out here in the middle of the country get used to one thing, and that is the weather's going to change. This poem is entitled, Just Wait a Minute, It'll Change. We've had lots of winter weather, so when we got a thaw, the chance to get outside was really quite a draw. It felt like cabin fever, so I was glad to get outside. Cleaned a feeder, built some fence, and managed to get in a horse ride. I stripped down to my shirt sleeves and got a whole lot of good work done, and found it was the spring's first exposure to the sun. The next day I was in the house a-paying some ranch bills when I heard a clap of thunder roll across the nearby hills. I tuned into the weather, and they proceeded to inform that a wave of snow might follow a local thunderstorm. I just shook my head and went back to working on the books when what I saw out the window made me take a second look. Big, fat, wet snowflakes were falling from the sky. It looked like a full-fledged blizzard passing by. I finished up my paperwork and bundled up to do my chores and found the sun shining brightly across the great outdoors. It made me think about the weather pattern in this Kansas land. It'll change so dadgum fast that it is hard to understand. And I said to my wife as the weather made its turn, you know you live in Kansas when it snows on your sunburn. Happy trails.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. We're back again. Don't we have fun here?
We do. Now we're going to go from a wild man to some wild beast. So have you visited the Osa and Martin Johnson Museum down at Chanute, Kansas? No. It's a wonderful museum, and I had not been there until a couple of years ago. Jackie Zimmer is the director there, and her husband, remember the bookstore, Lloyd, our dear friend. They are just a wonderful couple. And she does an amazing job. They actually had a film crew from, the Czech Republic, I believe it was, this young couple who were making a film about Osa and Martin Johnson. And they came to Kansas and interviewed Gary Clark and lots of folks. And, of course, Lloyd and Jackie helped them, do all kinds of stuff. And I was invited to a reception at their house to meet this lovely couple. And so maybe one day they'll be back in Kansas, and we'll share them. But we'll share information on their film project and how that's going. But again, this is a wonderful, cozy place to go. Take the kids, take the whole family. There's something for everybody. And the library is in the same building.
Huh. Well, you can actually see Teter Rock and the museum all in one fell swoop if you like.
That's right. It's all conveniently located. And Osawatomie's not that far either. So you can hit all three of these spots in one day.
There you go.
At least one weekend.
A day trip.
A day trip. That's right. Let's take a look. In the first half of the 20th century, an American couple, Martin and Osa Johnson, captured the public's imagination through their films and books of adventure in exotic, faraway lands. Photographers, explorers, marketers, naturalists, and authors, Martin and Osa studied the wildlife and peoples of East and Central Africa, the South Pacific Islands, and British North Borneo. They explored then unknown lands and brought back film footage and photographs, offering many Americans their first understanding of these distant lands. Osa Lady was born and raised in Chanute. Martin grew up in Lincoln and Independence. Martin took part as a crew member and cook in Jack London's 1907-09 voyage across the Pacific aboard the Snark. After that, he started a traveling road show that toured the United States, displaying photographs and artifacts collected on the voyage. He met Osa Lady while passing through her hometown. Osa later penned a bestseller, I Married Adventure, which sums up the colorful couple's life. Television's first wildlife series, Osa Johnson's The Big Game Hunt, premiered in 1953. The Walt Disney Company was the first organization to license Johnson Film for the program Filming Nature's Mysteries. Disney again licensed Johnson Film as a part of Rafiki's Planet Watch at Disney's Animal Kingdom. The architects and Disney team developing a new safari lodge borrowed Johnson films from the museum in 1997 and 98 for research and inspiration. Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge opened in April of 2001 and included is an ongoing exhibit of 36 Johnson photographs. Martin and Osa were the namesake, inspiration, and background story for the Martin and Osa clothing line and national chain of 28 Martin and Osa stores launched by American Eagle Outfitters. The Safari Museum was formed in 1961 to preserve the Johnsons' achievements and to encourage further research into their fields of study. The museum started with a core collection of the Johnsons' films, photographs, manuscripts, articles, books, and personal belongings donated by Osa's mother, but it has grown and flourished since then. The museum shares the beautiful old railroad depot with the Chanute Public Library. In 1998, the Martin and Osa Johnson Safari Museum was named by the History Channel Traveler website as one of the top 10 historic sites for Valentine's Day that capture romance American style. Well, we have had fun today.
Hey, don't we always?
Don't we always?
Thank you for joining us. So anyway, we have to get out of here. So I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Welcome to Kansas, gateway to Oz.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.